included in the electronic file. If there are changes requested, then we should receive them until 10 o'clock tomorrow to Secretariat, I understand, and the minutes of the meeting will be considered approved if there are no questions and there will be no remarks. I welcome President. We just started. That leads us to point number 3, the chair announcements. I will begin now by welcoming again everyone to this third ordinary meeting of the Delegation for Relations with the Countries of the Andean Community. Please note that the meeting is being web streamed so everyone can see us and hear us, and it will be recorded. It will be also uploaded on the European Parliament's website. Please note that the first part of this meeting is held in English with active and passive interpretation in French, Spanish and Italian. We go to point number 4 on the previewing of the mission to Ecuador, which was held 16th and 18th of September. And it was the first, and I think it was a great success. We will hear today our colleagues. Of course, there is always a room for improvement, but I think in general it was a great success of this mission. We attended very important interparliamentary meeting between European Parliament and the National Assembly of Ecuador, the first organized in Ecuador's capital since 2017. During the meeting, we engaged in a fruitful discussion with our Ecuadorian colleagues on a range of important issues, including political and economic relations, security, fight against organized crime and drug trafficking, as well as promotion and the rule of law. Together with my colleagues, I acknowledge the challenges faced by Ecuador, marked by violence and instability. I also expressed Europe for reinforcing bilateral relations with Ecuador, in particular regarding parliamentary cooperation. We also stressed that restoring security and stability cannot be done by violating human rights and rule of law. The European Parliament delegation was also received by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Niels Olsen. He almost spent the whole day with us, which we really appreciate. Welcome, second chair. Thank you for coming, chair. All through short, the meetings with Niels Olsen and others was useful and may pave the way to a full restoration of parliamentary ties with the National Assembly of Ecuador. The only negative aspect I want to underline of our meeting was that no member of the opposition was present at official meetings, and it was a quite strange and unprecedented thing. I have instructed the Secretariat to keep in touch with the administration of the National Assembly and planned a possible official visit to Brussels or Strasbourg of Ecuadorian parliamentarians in coming future, with the important reminder which we underlined during our meeting, present during this meeting. However, they might be at the time also need to be represented in other official meetings. The European delegation was also received by John Reinberg, Minister of Interior, Ms. Gabriela Sommerfeld, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Mr. Roberto Quintero, Vice Minister of Defense, and paid a visit to Andean University Simon Bolivar, where we met the Dean and other authorities in the presence of European diplomats. The second part of the mission was dedicated to civil society and business organizations, particularly those active in the sectors fruits and vegetables, flowers and seafood, which are exporting the European Union. And I want to thank Juan Zoido, who was chairing this meeting. He's a high-level expert on trade, and really I appreciate your chairing, and I will appreciate, of course, Juan, your remarks on that. On the last day, members traveled to Santa Cruz, where we met with local authorities and visited the Fausto Irena Turtle Breeding Center and the Charles Darwin Research. Before I give the floor to our colleagues, first participators and then others who want to comment, I would like to share also a couple of considerations for the future. So first of all, Ecuador is experiencing, and you know it very well, a very difficult time. We read almost every day now in the news about the difficulties in Ecuador, and we need to engage in the situation because, as we say in Polish, prawdziwych przyjaciół poznaje się w biedzie, which might be translated as a friend in need is a friend indeed. And I think this is also expectation from our friends in Ecuador that European Parliament will engage. They really appreciate our engagement, our attention, and I think this is both sides' expectation. Moreover, interest to stem the tide of drugs flooding Europe while preserving our excellent trade and economic ties. It was almost at every meeting that the sentence to be repeated. Secondly, despite the reassurances received, the efforts made by the government to fight against criminal gangs have been so far coupled with exceptional measures may have a negative impact on human rights, rule of law, and civil liberties. This is what we also echoed at many meetings, that this is the case. The announcement of constitutional referendum and the idea of launching a constituent assembly led to some questions about their legality. It is important for me as a chair of DAN delegation that we continue to closely monitor the evaluation of the situation in Ecuador, especially from an institutional and legal point of view, and of course not leaving and losing our Ecuadorian counterparts. I would now ask our colleagues who traveled to Ecuador, some of them could not make it, which I really feel bad about that, to share your point of views and remarks, and then I open the floor for other colleagues, and we start with our dear colleague Juan Ignacio Zoido, who really, both of you, I want to thank you, Anthony Smith and Juan Zoido, for your participation and engagement. You both contributed really to this delegation, and you worked hard, especially that there were only 3 of us as MEPs. Yes. So you need to work in the future more with us, Jessica, than double engagement. Juan, the floor is yours for your remarks. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, presidente. Muy brevemente, en primer lugar, para agradecer al presidente la paciencia que tuvo, el buen talante con el que llevó todos y cada una de las regiones que estuvimos celebrando, de todo tipo, tanto con la sociedad civil como también con los asambleístas y también con los empresarios. Y quiero, bueno, aparte de la canciller y también el viceministro de Interior. Yo quiero también agradecer el esfuerzo que ha hecho, porque han sido unas jornadas muy intensas, muy complejas y complicadas, incluso también para la vuelta, dada la situación que se estaba viviendo como consecuencia del hackeo que hubo, entre otros, en Bruselas, que canceló algunos vuelos. Incluso Robert, por parte del secretariado, padeció las consecuencias muy desagradables de ese tema. Ha sido lo único malo, que hemos tenido alguna matización, pero bueno, los de pelos que tuvieron, y al presidente lo bien que nos llevó. Y también agradecerle a Anthony Smith su colaboración, pero también las buenas relaciones que hemos mantenido. Yo creo que hay un diagnóstico del que ha hecho el presidente que muy bien ha detallado cómo fue la reunión. Es un aliado estratégico Ecuador para la Unión Europea y está atravesando sin duda una ola de falta de seguridad importante. Por eso creo que la cooperación en materia de seguridad en la lucha contra el narcotráfico. Yo creo que tenemos que celebrar el reciente acuerdo alcanzado entre la Unión Europea y Ecuador, firmado en Nueva York, precisamente a los pocos días de estar nosotros allí, con el comisario Brunner, que refuerza esa colaboración para combatir el narcotráfico y las redes transnacionales, pero también es importante desde el punto de vista comercial. Es un aliado importante desde el punto de vista económico. En el año pasado, el comercio bilateral superó los 7.500 millones de euros, consolidando a Ecuador como un socio clave para la Unión Europea. Para que nos hagamos una idea, y allí lo estuvimos viendo cuando vimos determinados sectores, como era el bananero, el sector de lo que allí llaman el camaronero, la flor, el tema del cacao, el tema del café, en realidad el tema también de pesca también fue allí se reforzaron, como querían cumplir con todas las exigencias que marca para los productos la Unión Europea y el compromiso de comprarlos. Por tanto, si a ello le unimos que se está negociando el acuerdo SIFA con Ecuador para que tengan una oportunidad clave a la hora de profundizar en la colaboración económica, simplificando los procedimientos administrativos, dando seguridad jurídica, que es algo muy importante para que puedan hacerse inversiones, transparencia. Voy a terminar con una reflexión. Yo creo que tenemos que colaborar y seguir colaborando con Ecuador y que debe ir directa, sobre todo, en 3 campos. Creo que tenemos que reforzar las capacidades del Estado ecuatoriano en justicia, que me parece fundamental, en seguridad, porque la seguridad es la que puede garantizar las libertades de los demás, y también apoyar, en tercer lugar, el crecimiento económico y la integración en la cadena global. Presidente, muchas gracias y puedo sentirse orgulloso del resultado de la misión.
Thank you very much, Juan. Thank you very much for being a part of this delegation once again as a standing rapporteur of INTA for Ecuador, and I count on your engagement in the future too. Thank you very much. And now I go to our second colleague, or third colleague, the composition of the mission, Anthony Smith, who also participated, and he was also organizing the meeting with opposition, which was ad hoc meeting where he participated because we could not have opportunity to meet opposition, but Anthony managed to organize as well. The floor is yours, Anthony.
Oui, merci Président. D'abord, oui, je me joins aux remerciements de Juan, cher Robert, cher Président, pour vous dire combien cette mission, qui était ma première mission, est une mission de qualité, de haut niveau. Alors évidemment, qu'un programme dense, qui nous a, Juan l'a rappelé, occupé pendant l'ensemble de ce déplacement, dans une ambiance politique particulière en Équateur, marquée évidemment par la violence, marquée aussi par des difficultés profondes, des déstructurations profondes du système d'éducation, du système de santé. Je garde en tête, par exemple, l'échange poignant que nous avons eu avec le gouverneur de Santa Cruz sur ces questions, sur ce sujet. Mais un grand merci parce qu'au final, cette mission s'est déroulée d'une façon extrêmement satisfaisante et elle a été un succès. Je pense qu'on en revient avec beaucoup d'éléments d'appréciation qui permettent d'incarner le travail de notre délégation. Et donc, encore une fois, merci Robert. Merci évidemment également au secrétariat de Dan qui nous a accompagnés durant toute cette mission et c'était extrêmement important. Trois remarques. J'ai formulé la première sur la question de la violence, la deuxième sur la réponse qui est donnée par le gouvernement équatorien à la situation de violence et qui, nous avons pu l'état de l'intérieur, des affaires étrangères ou de la défense, eh bien, est une réponse qui tend à la militarisation du pays et qui engendre de nombreux risques. On a évoqué, par exemple, avec le ministère de la Défense, la disparition des 4 jeunes de Guayaquil, de façon extrêmement directe. Il fallait le faire parce que cette militarisation, souvent au service d'un agenda néolibéral, porte atteinte aux droits humains extrêmement forte avec les représentants de la société civile qui ont souligné la situation en matière de droits et de libertés fondamentales à l'intérieur du pays et les reculs qui étaient en cours. De même, et ça sera ma deuxième remarque, nous sommes arrivés en Équateur à un moment où le débat faisait rage entre le président dans le pays. Et effectivement, la question des mécanismes de contrôle, la question du respect de la séparation des pouvoirs était une question qui occupe le débat équatorien, et à raison, parce qu'il y a de nombreuses difficultés, pour le dire comme cela. Et puis, tu l'as souligné, cher Robert, le manque de respect du pluralisme politique. Moi, j'ai fait part de mon étonnement devant nos collègues de l'Assemblée nationale équatorienne pour l'absence de toute présence des forces d'opposition lors de la rencontre institutionnelle que nous avons eue. Et j'ai d'ailleurs rencontré les oppositions à l'intérieur du Parlement, notamment de Révolution citoyenne, afin d'échanger avec eux, parce que je pense que dans le cadre de cette délégation, il était aussi important d'avoir cet échange avec l'ensemble des forces politiques du pays. C'est le sens aussi de nos travaux et de notre mission. Encore une fois, ces éléments sont des éléments d'appréciation politique importants. Moi, j'ai posé à la suite de cette mission une question écrite à la Commission sur la base de ces constats, mais je terminerai une dernière fois en saluant le travail d'organisation et l'extrême bonne tenue politique de cette mission en Équateur. Merci.
Thank you very much, Anthony, and thank you very much once again to both of you. Any comment on that? Any remarks? It's not the case. So once again, thank you very much, and thank you to Secretariat for making this mission possible. Without you, we would not make it. You almost stayed in Ecuador forever, but
Yes, it's the other way around, asking asylum there.
Yes, so it's good to see you back. Anyway, thank you very much, and then we go to point number 5 for DANT 2025-2026. So, on 24th of September, I met with the DAN Bureau, our great Vice Chairs Jessica von Leuven and Cristina Guarda. The meeting was, I must say, very useful and showed a remarkable convergence of objectives despite our political national differences, which is natural, of course. We are trying to organize a mix from the parliament in Colombia on 17th of December this year, so you can already try to, for our colleagues from Colombia, in the hybrid format. They will not be able to travel, but we will try to do it for hybrid. So in the case it would not be possible to secure a full-fledged IPM due to internal and external constraints, the meeting will be dedicated to an informal exchange of views with Colombian parliamentarians and other stakeholders on the current situation in the country. We need to be very flexible with that, and I ask you for allowing me for this flexibility, because we really want to meet the of an informal meeting with Andean Parliament MPs in the context of the forthcoming Eurolat plenary in early December. This follows a useful meeting we had in Ecuador, and our Andean counterparts in Inter alia announced the creation of friendship group with the European Union, which will be the dance equivalent at the Parlamentino. As you understand, the Andean community has its own parliament, and they will be our counterparts, which is a great news. Regarding 2026, we plan as a bureau, and of course it's to your approval, we plan to visit Bolivia in the Green Week of February, 17-19 of February, and this will be a small delegation aiming at breaking the ice and holding the interparliamentary meeting with the local parliament after more than 20 years of not keeping. Please note that the DEVE committee has also expressed its wish to travel to Bolivia on the same dates. I will be in touch with the DEVE chair on that. We had this delegation chairs meeting today, where I also raised the issue, because we need to sort it. Two delegations in the same days, having separate, I think it would not make much sense. So we will try to find the way how we can maybe merge these two delegations together. We will coordinate, and I will keep you informed on that. Colombia will remain high on our agenda during the elections in the two countries. Mission to Colombia in the second half of 2026. As soon as the new parliament is established, as you know, we should not travel before elections, and this will be also the case here. Please also note that LIBE committee has expressed its interest to travel to Colombia, so also this mission will be coordinated, and I will try also the solution for that. I will keep you, of course, informed on the details. So this is often the case when delegations and committees travel at the same time. Also, there might be interparliamentary meeting with Peru, but the meeting will be also organizing at the beginning of 2026. I will also keep you informed on that. And finally, let me remind you about first ever Andean Day, which we as Bureau, my vice chairs for this initiative, it will take place during the last week of January. So please put it in the calendar. I'm in touch with Roberta Metsola, our president. She also expressed her willingness to open the day, so she might be opening. It will be exciting. It will be a great day, I think. So there will be an exhibition and other events, and also we will organize the extraordinary DAN meeting with the participation of the representatives of 4 Andean parliaments, including the speakers of the parliament. So it will be something, I think, very high, and Roberta Metsola again expressed her willingness also to intervene. Open the floor for that. If any of the colleagues wants to take the floor. Yes, I see Laira and Anthony. Laira and then Anthony.
Muchas gracias, Robert. Gracias por previsto para el próximo año, que yo creo que es tremendamente interesante. Quería simplemente añadir dos ideas, por si pueden. Creo que quizás sería bueno encontrar en algún momento para ver a alguna autoridad o al embajador de Colombia previamente a la cumbre. De gran interés para las relaciones estratégicas de la Unión Europea y América Latina y el Caribe en Colombia, por tanto, en un país de esta delegación. Y creo que más allá de los contactos previstos posteriormente con los diputados, que me parece obviamente interesante, creo que sería bueno poder tener un intercambio de información y de opiniones, bien con alguna autoridad colombiana, que estoy segura de que vendrá por Bruselas en las próximas semanas, teniendo en cuenta esto con la embajada. Y el segundo elemento que quería poner encima de la mesa, que puede ser útil, es el elemento de desarrollo. Robert y yo tenemos la ventaja de que estamos también en la Comisión de DEVE, pero precisamente cuando escuchaba los resultados de la visita a Ecuador, recordaba la necesidad de acercar siempre la realidad de América Latina y particularmente de la región andina a los instrumentos de desarrollo de la Unión Europea. A veces existe un desconocimiento de la realidad de desigualdad, de los retos, incluso de emergencia humanitaria, lo han descrito, pero también de la necesidad de fortalecer la capacidad de los pequeños productores y que sus productos puedan venir aquí después de nuestras propias leyes y de exigencias que hacemos. Y creo que los instrumentos como Global Gateway o como la ayuda humanitaria deben responder a esos retos. Y creo que poder también, desde la delegación, generar espacios, ¿no?, de conexión entre los países y la Comisión en desarrollo para hacer ver que mantengan el compromiso de ayuda y la orientación de la ayuda. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Lyra, and I fully agree with both of the remarks. So the first thing on Colombia, I agree. We can organize the meeting. We had recently Ambassador of Ecuador for the briefing. It was short but very fruitful meeting. So we can organize the informal meeting because, as you know, the slots for DANT are very limited and we will not manage to organize it before official sitting of our delegation. But informal, I'd be very happy to invite, if there is agreement, the Ambassador of Colombia and discuss with the Ambassador the issues. So I think this would be a good idea. And on linkage between DEVE and development instruments and our work and the specific countries, again, I agree. I'm vice chair of DEVE as well, and you are an active member as well, and working on these instruments with your experience. Yes, for the future missions to Bolivia and Colombia, which we plan, we will add it in the agenda, so this will be also a factor. I think it's a great remark, because during our mission to Ecuador, I think something was lacking on that, and I think this will be important. This will be an important thing. Anthony, then.
Oui, très rapidement, une demande qui peut peut-être s'intégrer dans l'agenda que vous avez présenté concernant la possibilité d'avoir un échange de vues sur la situation au Pérou, concernant l'évolution un échange de vues qui intégrerait aussi des représentants de la société civile. Je formulerai cette près du secrétariat, mais ça semble extrêmement intéressant et important. Merci.
Okay, so I am informed by Roberto that DEVE, our committee where we are members, plans to do... Droit, yes, that's why I'm surprised. Yeah, Droit plans to do the seminar on that. Yes, and we will be as delegation associated. I will inform you about the date, and I will send the information on that. So there is already a plan that we'll do joint hearing, seminar on that. Thank you. Any other colleagues wants to take the floor?
And I'm sorry I was a little bit late. It looks really Colombian to be so late, but can't help it. First of all, I would like to thank you for your remarks during the last plenary session about the assassination in Colombia. I think it was important that you also gave your remarks about it, and I appreciate it a lot. And yeah, what I was hoping for the working program is, because when we look now at the countries of the Andean region, is that they are politically unstable, and I think what I also mentioned before is that if we focus more on the trade aspect between the EU and those countries, that's also a way to help them, because one of the best things also to give your remarks about their political situation is when you can relate it to the economic ties, because our economic ties are also a good argument with those countries to bring over our concerns about their political situations. And I hope we can focus more on trade and economic ties, and I think that will help them as well. But as I said before, thank you very much for your words about Colombia.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sebastian. And I agree we should focus on trade, but since the composition of this delegation and the horizontal perspective is important, so we deal with many issues beside trades, which is, of course, crucial. We have standing rapporteur of INTA for dealing with trade as well, but our colleagues, including myself, are interested in so many different issues. But we'll have, by the way, delegation will be also a Colombian perspective. And thank you for your remarks once again. Any other comments? No, it's not the case. So thank you very much. I understand that our plans are
The 17th of
adopted.
official, yes,
Yes, 17th of
December for the
Yes.
meeting on Colombia, actually.
17th, yes.
That was mentioned.
Yes, it was mentioned we will have a meeting on Colombia on 17th of December. So with our counterparts from Colombia. You are invited. Any other businesses, colleagues? No. So the next meeting will be announced to you. We will communicate you, and thank you very much for your participation, and I wish you a good evening, all of you. Thank you very much, colleagues.
On the 7th of December. Because recently it was cancelled.
who's guessing that you were not?
No.
Continue to organize my life without my family, and so I will let you know if I'm able to join. I hope so, and I think 90% is okay. But I wanted to understand your CV.
Yes,
We are very small vision.
Yes, but I want to know that more
Not
or
position.
yes, and I wanted to understand how do we to
Absolutely. I'll see you later. Have a nice evening, everybody.
You too, Sebastian. Thank you for coming. So the thing is, Roberto, by the way, the thing is that I talked to Dario Andrews, because he's the chair of DEVA, and they want to go the same way. And the idea is that our probably chair is great, because then we can compose the delegation. Because if we go when we are together, we will be extra here. If I will be colleagues from DEVA, we will have extra seat. Because I will be not No, because we're making more of the people with us. Because this will. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens now with elections. We have to really stay in touch with the ambassador as soon as we know about the final regulations now. And let's see what goes to final with your three. Because we're small. But if I go from there, really mean that we have one extra seat because I'm going as a delegation. You as a chairman from have a seat. You are only Italian of the quarter. Okay. No, it's a privilege.
I have reserved the week, so for me it should be.
Yes. But on the other hand, maybe you have a quota mass in the sense that the Oslo in the data is free for somebody else. On Andean Day, on Andean Day, everything is I know it's just like so she will card because Martin is using my art to wow. Yes, because I did so she will
You have too much shit.
no,
Not anymore.
I love it's not that you so we need to be very, very careful in case making some adjustments.
It's difficult.
Also because if you have a Jean provocateur that just comes to the city left or right. Something that someone said about the idea of
Great.
something short, relatively cohesive, and not big in towers, also taking into stock the fact that there are most I think it's never happened in the history. These are distinctly high time never happened in the history. This was really, sort of on. Yes, and those that were abated, that were really left outside, good. Everyone gathered on the same it's not for unity, that's of course. Because they don't want, because it's means they don't also influence, they will decide because they have French. The last word of the chair. And if the chair is agreement with the bureau, it's even better. Thank you for we say Spanish politics is what do you want?
I don't even understand that.
And not mentioning Italian. He's no one of this.
We are heroes.
They are heroes. But now you're competing with French. Because there is a cow in France.
Also with Germany, we got 2 months ago.
See you guys.
Goodbye. Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So I'm starting to think about what
Ciao, Christine. So, what do you want?
Me, nothing.
I want something good. So, I talked to Gary to sort the issue with the vet, and keep you informed.
Okay. And who takes the lead in the sense that it will be more done or more do it?
I mean,
Okay, so you decided. Okay. In this case, let me try, because I have good relations with the president, but we need, as I said, to keep a relatively local file, to be smooth, to avoid troubles, no support.
when I will share it.
Have to decide yourself the products.
No, oh yes, this I don't.
So you see the problem. So we may have someone with
You
black shirt.
There will be no other way. If we want to do it the same week, it will be
Let's try, because it does not for the fix for ambassador, should I do something? Because now we have a situation. They want to meet the ambassador.
Yeah, let's meet.
Next week I won't be there, but I'll ask Gaza to come and make a little match. No, I can ask you can send an invitation to Gaza, and then to yes to Martin. And then for this gender week?
Yes, we had this delegation meeting conference. They asked to do something. Can we do joint delegation?
Yes.
No, family not that big because they have to do. But maybe all the delegations on Latin America can do something.
Yes, you can write a message, or I can prepare a message for you, but you write officially.
When is the week?
Should be November, but at the moment I'm in Mexico. Didn't tell you during the meeting. Okay, let me discover this.
If it's too soon.
My feeling, if I may, not now, because you don't have to do it during the week. Okay, I'm committed. And then we organize a meeting at the local stage, either with family or women's rights in the Andean Community Ordinary.
Can we do it with FAM or the Latin American
We found a
delegation?
slot at the beginning of the year.
Can you talk, find the date, which I don't know.
Okay,
They asked me to
I
decide.
have a carte blanche.
And I will be probably the chair of the delegation for a conference to the next second half of the, so you need to
see this thing. But then I was the secretary for 5 years, so if you want to talk about that, it's interesting, but then I have some ideas.
I don't know, it's me who is proposed by the
But if you are taken, let me know, because then you ask my director to be attached to you also for this part. For the moment I'm not volunteering, but if you are there, I'm more than happy to join.
Grazie Roberto.
Okay,
Ci vediamo.
Yes, probably.
Who lost, I think it's Christina.
Christina, yes.
Yes, Christina. Can you call Christina's assistant and tell her that she left her mobile?
Good. So let's keep
Assistant to
talking.
Christina.
Me and
Do you have Christina's number?
Yes.
I
was trying to get this taken to
so we will have it in our yes, so she can come to our
otherwise she can come
maybe she can
Sara, scusami, mi sa che Cristina ha dimenticato il suo telefono. Noi siamo ancora in sala di riunione, vuoi qui o vai all'ufficio di Robert? Vieni tu qui? Allora questo è qua.
Grazie Roberto. Ok, ci vediamo. Leave it to Roberto. No, he's not coming. No, Crystal is not coming. He's going under the therapy for 2.5 months.
Okay. As for your information, tomorrow also see also my mother is feeling better, so the real one, my father and my father, you know the situation, but next week it's going to be a bit complicated. So I try to sort out these two legal things for you.
So you are in Italy next week?
Yes, but I will be in touch. So if there is anything further, no problem. Thank you also for your good words. Apparently others appreciate as well.
You deserve. And I had meeting with Juan Zaida.
Okay, we remember. We need to talk about Bolivia and other few things. So we have 1 hour. Get me for lunch if you want.
I will be very happy because I owe you for pistachio cream. And I still don't have idea what can be equivalent as a souvenir for that. I don't have idea what to give you for that.
No, it's just a pleasure of.
So I will find something.
And as I said, once I solve my issues, there will be a lot of waiting for you. Thank you, Roberto.
Cheers. See you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, goodbye.
durante la riunione. E tipo se mettete più in piedi, no? Come on, you know, it was looking like a monkey, you know? And say, no, it's not for us, you know? I mean, imagine if you like to do great place and I shoot into your meeting. Come on,
dimmi, posso mangiare con me o vuoi fare?
Adesso veniamo a quelli con 30 anni, 30 secondi che puoi dare.